Now that you have decided which route to go towards, whether it's personal branding or company branding, now it's time to really try to hone in on trying to invoke certain emotions and try to appeal to your audience so that you create a positive experience. And that's really what this is all about. So with that said, let's jump right in. So what I want to do now is to walk you through a 5-step process to help you go through a specific exercise that will help you extract keywords and images so you have a visual idea of the emotions that you want your brand to invoke. Because obviously you want to make sure that after somebody experiences your product or service and then they take a look at your brand later on, then they have a positive experience, right? So first things first, you want to figure out the goal of your brand and how you want people to feel. And I'm going to walk you through this exercise that will help you get a better picture of what that looks like. So first things first, what we want to do is we want to figure out what's the story. What's the story of your product or service and ultimately your brand? So what I want you to do in this specific exercise is to extract the essence of your product or service in 2 to 3 sentences. So write that down. If you want to pause this video, you can, but just pause the video and just jot down on a piece of paper or type it up 2 to 3 sentences that express what your product or service is all about. And what is the uniqueness of it? How is it different than your competition? Or what is the unique selling proposition of your product or service? So essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to get some major ideas or the core message that you want to express to people after they have purchased your product or service. How do you want them to feel? Essentially before they buy your service, and then of course when they use it, experience it, they have a positive experience. And then of course when they see your brand in the future, they have that trust, right? Second of all, after that, what you need to do is you need to figure out, obviously, who's your audience. Who's your audience? Who's your demographics? So what I want to do now is walk you through a step-by-step process to figure that out. Now, what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to do some basic demographic research. And by demographic, I'm referring to the type of person that will be buying your product. And demographics can get all the way down to the detail of the race of the person, the age of the person, and the very, very specifics. You know, are they still in college? Do they have a college degree? Do they have a graduate degree? How much money are they making? What kind of houses are they living in? What's their lifestyle? Because if you know this type of stuff, then you know if they're going to see your brand as cheap or too expensive, or what's going to go actually in their minds. So this is going to actually help you out and set the platform up so that when you do set up a logo and do set up a design, it's just going to make sense. And this is something that a lot of people tend to not really think about. They just jump into branding. They think, okay, I need to do a logo. So they go on a logo site and just go and buy a logo. You know, I've been there. We've all been there. But it's time to do a little bit different by doing some demographic research. So there are 2 specific sites that I recommend. Number 1, it is Alexa.com. Alexa.com is a site that is owned by Amazon. And specifically, what it does is when you enter a website or a URL into their search engine, it'll basically tell you the traffic stats, and it is paid version. So the paid version does cost about $45 per month. But to be honest, what you need to do is just grab the first month, do your research, and of course you can exit anytime you wish. Now, Alexa.com is nice because it gives you the exact data that you need. It's going to tell you, and what you do is, generally speaking, you can enter your competitor's URL into their search engine, and it's going to tell you exactly what type of person your demographic or audience is. And the reason why you want to figure this out is because when it comes to, driving traffic and doing ads, then you can target those types of people. Because if you try to target everybody, guess what? Everybody is not going to buy your product. It really comes down to very specific. So what I'm going to do in just a minute, I'll show you the site and I'll give you an idea of what it looks like and how to use it. So obviously Alexa.com is a paid subscription, but to be honest, in my testing and everything like that, I found that there is a site called quantcast.com and it is free, but it doesn't really give you the data that you need. And oftentimes it can take half a day to do research, and really time is money. Another little tool that I use is Facebook Insights. Facebook Insights is free. It's provided by Facebook, and this shows you the different side of your demographic audience. It gives you a side of them to show you their lifestyle. And if you think about it, Facebook is collecting all this data from people and basically collecting it, and you're able to see, their lifestyle. Are they married? Are they not? Are they single? Or do they have houses? And other things like that. Their lifestyle, their page likes, their likes, what kind of jobs they have, and things like that. So very, very powerful stuff, and I'll show you it in just a minute. So if you head on over to Alexa.com, that's Alexa.com, and what you need to do is you need to figure out who your competitor is. And if you can find a big competitor, that's even better. And the reason being is because you need to enter the URL or the website address into this box. Now, when you do that, say for example, I entered WordPress.com because that's a big enough site, and maybe I want to build something that is similar. Now, if you scroll down here, you're going to be able to see a guesstimate of their traffic. You're also going to be able to see more information such as the country, the estimated unique visitors, and so forth. But you're not going to be able to see this unless you upgrade. Now, you can actually see that the people that are visiting this site are mainly from the US, from Brazil, and India, and other parts, as we can see here, like Indonesia and so forth. And you can see the exact amount of visitors that people are actually coming from. You can actually see more results if you upgrade. You can see how engaged are visitors to this site. And you can also see, in addition to that, what keywords are they typing in to reach the site, how much search engine traffic, how much upstream sites. And then, of course, what we really, really want to pay close attention is the demographics. So who visits the site? Well, in this case, we can see for WordPress.com, it is mainly female. And then education-wise, it looks like many of them have no college or some college. Now, that doesn't necessarily tell us what kind of person it is until we take a look at the Facebook Insights. Now, I will say this. I know this for a fact. Like WordPress.com tends to be a lot of business people, but tends to be like women. And WordPress.org, that's more of like a do-it-yourself type thing. I've done research and I found that it is mainly men, older men, which is interesting. So it really depends on the angle of your product. Just because it's WordPress doesn't mean anything. The fact is you need to figure out who your competitors are and exactly what site they're visiting, and then research that. Because otherwise, if you just type in WordPress, one could be women, one could be men. You see what I'm saying? That's why if you created a logo for men for WordPress, something similar to WordPress.com, then guess what? It's not going to appeal to that demographic. But if you create a logo that appeals to women, and the demographic mainly are women, even though you might be trying to reach everybody, then guess what? You're more likely to reach that specific demographic. Now, as you can see, browsing location, they're mainly, it looks like, in school or home. Now, just because they're at home doesn't mean that, they're homemakers. It could also mean that they are business people. So that's why you have to collect all this data to really figure out what they actually look like. And you have to upgrade to the subscription in order to see the rest, because the rest is going to tell you stuff like how much money do they earn, other things like if do they have children, and things like that. Now, if you want to know their lifestyle, this is where Facebook Insights comes in. Now, if you don't know how to get here, I recommend just going to Google and typing in Facebook Insights. And the reason being is because you're probably not going to remember this long of a URL, but it's facebook.com/ads/audience_insights/people. Now, if you come here, you're going to see lots of information. It's amazing how much Facebook is willing to give you. But first things first, you need to go down to the search box, which says interest. And you need to type in this case, WordPress.com. So, for example, we can see it is 59% women, or almost close to 60% women, and 40% men. So it is it's not exactly, leaning way towards women. And we can see it's close to the half mark, but we see that it is majority women. Now, if that's the case, we may want to take a neutral approach and have our logo not just appeal to women, but have it neutral so that it's not manly, it's not, womanly, it's kind of in the middle. So, because, for example, if I type in WordPress, we'll just type in WordPress. Like WordPress developer. You see how that flips? And now it's 70% men and 30% women. So that's why, and that's the example that I was trying to tell you, is that just because you type in WordPress, don't go with the initial, guesstimate. You need to make sure that you pick and find a website that is in competition with yours that is big enough. And in addition to that, make sure that that specific website really matches your brand. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right data. All right, so let me go back and type in WordPress.com so we get the right data here. Like so. And as you go through here, you're going to see lifestyle. So you can see the demographic and interest data based on purchase behavior. This is powerful stuff. I mean, this tells you what their lifestyle is all about. Things that they like, soccer and SUVs and grandkids. So that gives me a better picture of what kind of person that might be. Relationship status. Most of these are married, but some of them are single. Education level. We can see most of them have a college degree. And the job title, this gives us a better view of what their life looks like. Arts, entertainment, sports, media, computer mathematics, so very analytical. Production, IT, technical. So we can go back up here and we can type page likes. So we can see exactly what they are liking. They're liking WordPress.com. They're liking a digital marketer, the specific celebrities in that niche that they are liking, the specific news and media that they're following, the specific softwares that they're using. So we can see a lot of entrepreneurial business women here. Location, we can take a look at location. We can take a look at activity, pages liked, devices that they're using. And I will say, like, if people own stuff like iPads or iPods or iPhones, or even different things like that, then you can get an idea, are they techie, are they not? Household income. So most of them earn about $50,000 to $75,000. household size. They have at least one adult or children. So it looks like they don't have a lot of children. That probably means that they are, maybe business type people. Not saying that business people don't have children, just saying that it looks like they mainly have one or two or three max. So a small family, home market value. So what this is kind of doing is it's painting a picture of who exactly you're trying to reach. Now, purchase is amazing. This stuff is amazing to have access to. Retail spending, online purchases. If your product is online, are these people going to really purchase your product or not? Like purchase behavior, mainly business purchases, subscription services, food and drink, and so forth and so on. So now that you have gone through the demographic research, you know now exactly what type of person you want to reach. Now, the question is, okay, where are we going with this? How are we invoking emotion? Well, now that you know exactly who you're targeting, you can write up an idea of what their day-to-day looks like, what kind of emotions are they going through throughout the day. And you may not get, an exact, but for the most part, you can pretty much tell from the demographic data, how are they going about their day and things like that. So from that, what we need to do is we need to do what we call the keyword challenge. And I want you to jot down 15 words that associate with your product and keeping in mind that demographic audience. Because now that you have that information, you can begin to jot down keywords that relate to your product, but keywords that would actually excite your demographic audience, right? And then once you have those 15 or so words, you can do 10, that's fine, but you want to do at least 10 to 15 words. And once you have those words, what I want you to do is find pictures that relate to those keywords. And the reason being is because when you create your logos or your mascots, a picture is worth 1,000 words and it paints 1,000 words. And having that in hand shows you exactly what your logo should look like. It may not be the exact, but it gives you a better idea visually what it all looks like. So there are several sites that I like to go to, and these are what we call royalty stock photo sites, which basically allow you to go here, download them, and use them for commercial use. Now, in this case, we're not really using it for that purpose. What we're trying to use for this purpose is to type those keywords into sites like Pixabay or even Big Stock Photo and seeing what kind of images actually show up. Now, the reason why I like to use this method versus just going to Google and looking for images is because these are paid sites. Big Stock Photo is a paid image site, which means that people pay money to see and use these images in their business. Pixabay, they give it to you for free, but in addition to that, you can use it for your business as well. And the reason why these are so powerful is because, for example, if you go to Big Stock Photo and you type in emotions such as excitement, then the nice thing about this is you can actually see how many times people downloaded these images. So you can say, okay, most popular, and we can see from top to bottom which ones are the most popular. And in doing so, we can take a look at the colors. So colors, yellow tends to often express excitement. And we see, you're looking through here, you actually see a lot of yellow, actually. Yellow, yellow, yellow. So without you realizing it, and we're going to talk more about this in color psychology, but without you realizing this, there's actually a lot of yellow. There's a lot of specific colors that psychologically impact the feeling as somebody is actually looking through your logos. So we're going to go into this in a little more detail, but colors actually matter a lot. But how you portray your logo, these are just exciting or even depending on the emotion. And this allows you to see and feel the emotions. So having these open, you can go through them and see, okay, how many emotions am I actually getting? Am I getting more of a positive experience, or am I getting more of a negative or a reality check kind of feeling? So it doesn't matter, but what you're trying to do is this allows you to see what your audience sees. See what I'm saying here? So you're not really using these in your logo. You're just getting kind of inspiration and getting a feel for what kind of emotions are going on. And last but not least, I want you to get some inspiration. And by doing this, all you need to do is go to Amazon.com or Pinterest.com. And the reason why you want to do this is because these sites have books on it. For example, Amazon.com, if you go to it, you can take a look at the books, and you can take a look at the images that they use, the words they use to portray their book. And words are crucial. So you can get some inspiration from that. You can go to Pinterest also, and Pinterest is really, really good as far as showing you images that relate maybe to your brand or your competitor's brand. So you have an idea of the different images that are showing up for the different keywords that will apply to your logo. Now, all of this will make more sense when I actually show it to you, and at the end of the day, show you, different keywords and different images that we have gathered, and that will really help you get the mascot and get the logo that you're going to need. All right. So with that said, let's move on to the next video.